It starts with 1, progresses to 2. Before you know it, it's way more than you thought. But you must take them. You must take the medication. However, there are times when you can feel like your heart's going to explode. You've taken too many at once. Mix them together. What now? Is there a way to combat this? In fact, there is, my friends. Now let's go over the medication errors. Welcome. Now, how do you avoid these med errors? Now let's talk about this from more of a medication in regards to not mood stabilizers, but you could say even mind altering, so psych meds. Let's discuss 7 do's and don'ts of these medications, or really in particular don'ts, on how we can avoid these med errors and provide essentially safe education and avoid things such as severe side effects. Now, always talk to your doctor, but this is kind of something that I found that I think is very crucial for anyone taking multiple different types of medications together, like uppers and downers. Number 1, take as prescribed. Take your medications as prescribed. Always consult your doctor. If you're ever having side effects from your medications, you should always talk to your doctor. If it's prescribed to take 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, whatever the medication is, ask your doctor for specific times, or ask them, hey, if I do this in the morning, if I exercise, should I take it before exercise? Should I take it after, depending on the type of medication? So that's number 1. Number 2, give body at least 2 to 3 hours between taking, let's say, a scheduled med and another scheduled medication. So for example, let's say for example you're taking something like, how do I say this? Let's say you're taking a medication like a stimulant, for example. Let's just throw out something like, even like Adderall or something. Let's say you're taking something like that. Typically on a medication bottle, let's say take twice daily on there, take 2 daily. And sometimes you'll be like, wait, do I take them together or do I take them separate? That is always something to where, let's say you take 2 20 milligram tabs a day, to where you definitely want to at least separate it. You wouldn't want to take the full 40 together, because that will cause things such as anxiety, high heart rate, things like this. Or even let's say you take let's say you're prescribed an antidepressant and a stimulant like Adderall. Taking those together you can do, but I would discuss that with your doctor as well, because it's not like the antidepressant is a downer, but it has more of a downer effect than a lot of times a stimulant effect. But it can have a stimulant effect as well. That's why you'd want to discuss this as well. But the big thing is, I would try to give your body at least 2 to 3 hours between doses. Number 3, do not drink alcohol. And I know you might say, wait, but I like to drink with friends and whatnot. That's all fine and dandy and whatnot, but if you're drinking and taking a lot of medications with it, and this is, once again, let's just say for the sake of it, psych meds or mind altering meds, that can enhance side effects. So if you're taking something like a PRN benzo before going out, and then from there drinking within 30 minutes to an hour, that's going to increase that benzo effect, or going to increase how tipsy you can get, which can cause a lot of problems. You can, dizziness, low heart rate, passing out, falling, things like this. So you always when it comes to alcohol, you want to avoid it if you can. But if you're gonna drink, you need to give your body time as well. Number 4, and I kind of already touched on this. If taking a stimulant, and I'm just gonna, let's say a scheduled stimulant, and something, for example, like a benzo, these 2 things, please make sure that you are not mixing them together. And we can even go for this. Let's say a benzo and like a mood stabilizer, something for bipolar disorder even. Yes, you can take them PRN, obviously, like a lot of times that's how benzos are prescribed, but sometimes people who have epilepsy or things like this, they're going to be prescribed benzos. When you're taking these, especially when you first start taking these meds, that's when you'll be looking for the most side effects, to where you'll want to try to space them out. I know I kind of already touched on spacing meds out, but this is key to avoiding serious side effects or very adverse effects or potential, harmful effects that can really cause negative outlooks on your life. So spacing them out, giving your body more time. Number 5, do not double up the dose. Reason being, if you do double up the dose, and this is actually more common than people think. In the past, before I've taken, for example, a medication, then I forget if I took the medication. It's a natural phenomenon that happens a lot. If you don't remember if you took the medication, don't double up for the day. Especially things like mood stabilizers like lithium, if you're taking things such as benzos, or really any psych med in general, if you double up that dose, that can really cause serious side effects. Increased heart rate, decreased heart rate. That's why you should always get, if you can, one of those Sunday through Monday packets where you can put your meds in the slots, and you take them each day. So if you're like, oh, they're not there, more than likely you took them. But you would never want to double dose on a medication, because if you do, once again, with that, if you're working a job, that can cause even things when driving, feeling uncomfortable, getting dizzy. So don't double up. But that is more common than people think. That's happened to me before. That's probably happened to you as well. If you take medication to where you forget, did I take my medication or not? Then you just pop another one. And 9 times out of 10 you'll be fine, but it takes that one time that you can really have a serious problem with it, especially with new meds in general. Number 6, another thing. Avoid, especially if you're starting a new medication, but in general, if you're taking mind-altering medications, avoiding things such as cannabis, things from head shops as well, things on the street, because a lot of times, and we can throw cannabis out of it, but cannabis, since it's mind-altering in that regard, if you're using some of that and you're starting a new med, it can dramatically increase the side effects of anxiety and paranoia if you're using cannabis with it, or it can make you just want to pass out. And if you have to drive anywhere in that time that you've consumed both, you can be in some serious issues. So always, it can just enhance side effects from whatever of the precursor of whatever that drug is you're taking, that prescribed drug. If you're adding something with it, for like a street drug with it, it can enhance the side effects of either that street drug or the prescribed drug as well, or enhance both of them together, the side effects, which can be problems. So be very, very cautious with this. And number 7, like and subscribe real quick. If you haven't already, I greatly appreciate it. This is kind of a random video, but I wanted to get this out here because it really is the do's and don'ts, but don'ts primarily, of how to avoid these medication errors and potential serious adverse effects from this. Number 7, give your meds. Always give your meds, in particular things such as SSRIs, mood stabilizers, or even new psych meds in general, 2 to 3 weeks to take effect, because at first your body is adjusting to it, and things such as antidepressants or SSRIs or SNRIs, mood stabilizers, or even and once again, even really any medication that's not even mood stabilizer, a psych med, you need to give it 2 to 3 weeks. Sleeping meds as well, because your body's adjusting to it. Now, the one thing I will say with that I would star, if you're taking notes or whatnot, that I actually have starred right here and here, is this. If you notice any serious side effects from this when you first start taking it, and what I mean by this is like confusion, severe dizziness, severe blood pressure changes, because a lot of times if you're taking things such as blood pressure medications with any new medication and you're feeling dizziness, your blood pressure could be very low, or you could have a serious headache to where it's skyrocketing. If you're taking a stimulant, elevating your blood pressure. If you're taking a downer like a benzo, lowering the blood pressure, you do want to talk to your doctor about that. So you always want to give them an accurate history of your medications and what you're currently taking, and if you've had any reactions to meds, so you can accurately get the medication you need. But always give your body, the golden rule is 2 to 3 weeks, unless you're having any serious adverse effects actively. And some you might not realize it, but you only find out if you're allergic through trial and error. And if you're noticing things like this, obviously breathing issues, that would be something, a red flag. Immediately you'd want to seek medical help. Things like this, to where you'd want to get taken off that real quick. And real quick, this is just an extra one. If you're the medication you've been taking for a while and you feel like it's not working well, or you feel like it's just not doing anything, never stop it abruptly unless you're talking to your physician and they give you permission to, because a lot of times with psych meds in particular, mind-altering meds, if you just get cut off of it all at once, some meds you'll be fine with, but others can cause things such as seizures, confusion, psychosis. And this even goes with meds like, obviously with things like benzos, you want to taper off them, but even things like meds for ADD and whatnot, you can get cut off of those all at once, but typically if you have a good doctor, they would taper you off of it because you're going to be extremely tired. You're going to have that fogginess feeling for a while to where they'd want to put you on a taper plan at first to get you off of it so you can adjust back to normally without having any serious side effects or potentially having a med error, which is the name of the video again. I know I did a little bit of a dramatic intro, but I like doing those. That is your daily dose of mental health. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you've had any problems with medications or some tips you would give to people in regards to starting or stopping medications. But this is all to prevent medication errors in regards to what you're taking and give you the most success with any new meds you are starting. Also, I am not a doctor. I do work in the healthcare field, but I am not a doctor. Always consult your doctor. This is for YouTube's policies and whatnot. Leave a comment, like and subscribe. I love you all. Have a great, blessed rest of the weekend. Love you all.